Hey, you guys, I'm uploading this on a Saturday, so if you're watching this today, happy Saturday. I just want to talk about something very quickly. So I'm sure everyone has heard about the situation down in Texas where a young lady was driving and she turned down a street and then realized that it was a one-way only street and that she was driving in the wrong direction. So she stopped her car and it happens to block a man's vehicle. And this guy, I guess, was a bartender or worked in a bar at some capacity. He sees what happens. He comes outside. And from the tape that I saw, he was very aggressive with her, right? To the point where he pulled a gun out. And so when she took her phone to dial 911, he slaps the phone out of her hand, which to me is assault, okay? And so she swung at him, and he proceeded to hit her 4 or 5 times, right? And people are using that story to say something about black women and interracial relationships. What we have to understand is that as far as we know, these two people had no relationship with each other. This was a random encounter, and in my opinion, the man involved was overly aggressive, brutish. He was a vile animal, and thankfully, he has been arrested, and as far as I know, there's no word on the young lady's condition, but I'm hoping that she's doing well. I'm sure this was very traumatizing, not only because of the physical assault on her, but just mentally as well. What I want to talk about is I'm noticing a few things here. Some people took this story and ran with it and assumed that they were in a relationship. They're not, okay? We don't know anything about this woman or her personal life, so I don't know why people didn't see the situation for what it is. A vile, angry, aggressive lunatic who attacked this woman for no reason. Secondly, another thing I'm observing is that recently, people only see black women and black girls as victims when their attackers are non-black men. We heard about the situation where there was a young mother with her daughters, and she was driving to Walmart, and someone shoots into the mother's car. There's a 7-year-old girl that's shot and killed. And when everyone thought that the murderer was a white man, every black person that I know of rallied around this young woman and her family. Then when people found out that the murderers, were black men, then all of a sudden everyone backed away from the story. Right? So we have to understand something, ladies, that generally when you see people take on certain talking points and you see them acting like they support a black woman who's a victim in these cases, they're only showing support to promote a certain narrative, right? Because people are trying to present this narrative about black women and non-black men, okay, because these people are concerned about black women's personal relationship choices. To the point where in this situation in Texas, even though, like I said, as far as we know, this young woman had no relationship to the animal that attacked her. They had no relationship at all, as far as we know. But people try to present that narrative. You have to remember, just a few months ago, or maybe a year ago, there was a 13 or 14-year-old girl that was punched in the face by a brutish, animalistic man. And the same people were blaming that girl for the fact that that man assaulted her, for the fact that a fully grown man assaulted a little girl. We saw the situation maybe a year or two ago where there was a young black girl, I believe she was either in middle school or high school, and a security officer violently removed her from her seat, right? And during that situation, these same people were actually supporting the violent and brutish adult male instead of defending the child. We saw the same thing when a black girl, along with another group of kids, was leaving a pool party, or maybe they had gone to a pool at a local community center or something like that. And a police officer body slams this young black girl to the ground. And these same people were saying that that girl deserved it. Okay? And I also have to point something else out. There's an elderly black woman that was on a subway a few days ago, and a man walked up to her and kicked her in the head several times. I don't see people talking about that. I've seen other stories where black women have been attacked and assaulted by a man, and people will blame the woman. Even there was a black woman, she was either a doctor or a nurse, and she was working at a hospital, and her ex-fiance came to the hospital and was arguing with her, I believe in the parking lot, and shot and killed her. And these men were not supporting that woman. They were defending the man. But now, because you're starting to see more divestment and pro-swirl platforms amongst black women, right? Now these people are basically acting like they care about black women. If the black woman is in a situation where she's assaulted or otherwise attacked by a non-black man, but they're taking it to this level where they will try to paint the picture that a black woman is in a relationship with a non-black man, even if they're not actually romantically involved. And this is why, in my opinion, it's very dangerous for us as black women to suggest that there are only certain situations where black women need advocacy, or for us to suggest that in certain situations a black woman or a black girl, quote unquote, deserves to be assaulted. It's dangerous because what happens is it creates this environment where basically it's open season on black women and black girls, where people feel like they can attack us, and where people can feel like, well, if they see a black woman being attacked, that they don't have to step in and help, to the point where people don't even feel inclined to pick up the phone and dial 911. If they're using their phones to do anything, they're recording. So please be careful. Please understand that a lot of the narratives that you see out there are cleverly executed tricks or deceptions. Please pay attention to the emotional and the mental and the verbal sleight of hand that would say, well, in this situation, see black women, this is why this particular group is dangerous. But in another situation, if you're attacked by a different group, then somehow you're to blame. Please be careful. Enjoy your weekend.